Now we are going to tackle prepositions. And I always found prepositions a little bit difficult because they're really hard to actually define or put your finger on. But the basics of a preposition is that they show connections between a noun or a pronoun in a sentence to another word. All right? And the kind of relationships that they show are time, location, direction, and relationship. So they kind of hook things up in a sentence and show how the two things fit together. One other thing to know about prepositions is that they always take an object, which means they should always be followed by an object. When you put the two together, you've got your prepositional phrase. All right, so let's take a look at some tricks that will help you identify prepositions. First thing, and I'd love to say that I came up with this, but this is a Schoolhouse Rock thing. They're called the busy Ps. And the reason that they're called the busy Ps is because they're used all the time. And the reason that we use prepositions is they give a little bit more detail. They add some description into clauses, into phrases to help things be a little bit more clear. Like I said, they're often difficult to find. Not only the actual word preposition, but when we look at some of these example words, after, as, before, at, above, any of these things, if someone asked you to actually define one of these words, it's a little bit difficult. So that's one key that you might be looking at a preposition. And like I said, they always take an object. So if we take a look at these two example sentences, the parking lot was full of cars. We've got one preposition here, the word of, and it's showing the relationship between these cars, which is the object of the preposition of, to the rest of the sentence. All right. If we take a look here, we've got the sentence, I drove around looking for a parking spot. Now on first glance, the sentence looks like it's got two prepositions here. We've seen the word around, and that kind of shows the relationship of direction. And we've seen the word for, all right? But we've got to double check here. So if we have this word for and we think it's a preposition, we've got to make sure it takes an object. And it does. It takes the object, a parking lot, that's an item after it, and it connects the parking lot to the rest of the sentence. Our other gut instinct may be to look at the word around. We might think it's a preposition, and many times it can be used as a preposition, but we've got to double check and see if it's followed by an object. So here, if we look at the word following around, it's looking. That's a verb. There's no object there. So actually here, around is being used as an adverb describing the way somebody drove. So we've got to be careful with some of those tricky ones. All right, let's see if we can do this on our own. So you've got this sentence here. At a time when most of the retail industry is in recovery, a star has emerged, the outlet mall. So let's start breaking down some of those prepositions that show direction. So the first clue that we have is they're talking about time, and we know that prepositions show time relationships. We've got this word at. All right, it's a hard word to define, and it's followed by an object, a time. So if somebody asked you about this prepositional phrase, you would tell them the phrase is at a time. All right, so there's our first preposition. Moving on, we've got when most of the retail industry. All right, of is another one of those words that shows relationship. All right, its object is the retail industry. So we've got another prepositional phrase there. In shows that relationship, and it's in recovery, followed by an object, so we know that's a preposition. And we've got all those there. So now you can take a look at how these different words that's hard to put kind of your finger on and describe what they actually are, but ones that do a lot of work and show a lot of relationships, you can nail them down now as prepositions.
By two. I can't do this with you two laughing back there.
Work it. Work it.
So if we had, no, that's not right, 3 coplanar points.
So have you ever gotten off an airplane?
Has to be
Less than.
yeah. Dang.
Is it like 500 degrees in here or what?
All right, so when you're in chemistry class, you're going to be doing a lot of work. You're going to be starting over.
So as an example, we could consider like you've got a chain hanging from two fixed.